Welcome to Mimi's Math Channel. Today I will discuss solving quadratics using Desmos or TI-84. The first thing that you want to remember is the standard form of a quadratic is shown here, where A, B, and C represent numbers only. If you do not see anything in front of x squared, it's understood to be a 1. This is showing you how to actually use the method solving quadratic by factoring. However, the purpose of this video is to help you understand how to check your answers in Desmos or TI-84. It is not a replacement for knowing how to do the work. If you want to know how to use each of these methods step by step, you can go ahead and pause the video and look at my steps. Go to my YouTube channel and search for solving quadratics, and it will show you each of the methods that are in this video. So for Desmos, if I wanted to, what I could do is type what's on the left-hand side of the equation on one row, and then what's on the right-hand side in the second row. But for this side, I have to put a y in front of it. So it would look something like this. And I showed you multiple ways that you can do it. So my red graph and my blue graph. Well, first off, let me just show you something. So this is the blue graph, right? If I took the y equals off, I no longer have a graph. So I have to, and I can look here and I can see I don't have a graph. If I put the y equals, I now have a graph. So these two, 1 and 2, I have to see where they intersect. So I'm going to go to where it's red and blue, and I'm going to click on that. And I'm looking for x. Solve quadratic means your answer is going to be in the form of x equals. So my x is what's shown here, and then 1. However, I don't want a decimal unless it's a word problem. So if I go back to my answer, I see that that decimal actually is -8/3, and I also see that x is 1, which we see that. Now, typically in Desmos, you could actually take and copy your decimal, and there will be a fraction bar here that will give you the answer. But I have not found a way to figure out how to simplify this in Desmos. So if anyone knows a way, please put it in the comments, because I don't know when it's repeating like that. If it was something basic like 0.5, which we know is 1/2, that will actually show. I could also rewrite this, which I did here. And so now I'm going to put the entire left-hand side on one row. And then on this side, remember you have to do y equals. That's shown with the orange and the purple. So if I go over here, I'm going to look where it's orange and purple. Where do they meet? And I'm doing the same thing. And I notice I still get the same answer. And then the last way you can do it is just put the entire thing in that you rewrote. So just put it all in one row. And that's going to be the green. So if I looked at the green is vertical. And again, if I clicked on it, I still get the exact same answers. And I see that the orange and the purple, it's going to meet up with the green. So if I got rid of that, again, no decimals. We want to change that to a fraction. And this is the steps to see how to change it to a fraction. All right, for example 2, I'm using the square root method. So what I can do is, again, type in the left-hand side. And then on this side, I want to type in y equals. And so I notice a graph appear. So I see a red and a blue, but it says y is 9. So I'm going to go up to where y is 9, and that's where I find my blue graph. And now when I click on it, I can see that I have decimals. Well, there's no way that this is going to turn into a fraction. Instead of trying to copy this, what I could also do is press this button and then just delete out this part. You'll see that the fraction bar will pop up, but I can tell this is not going to give me a good fraction. So I'm going to work through my problem, and this is the steps for doing it. And I see that my answer is going to be a number and a radical. I cannot combine them because one has a radical and one doesn't. So 2 plus or minus root 7. So what I want to do is just compare this, and I see that that's 4.645. So I see that that's equivalent. And then I can just copy this, go to the next line, and change the plus to a minus. And I should see that over here, I have the equivalent decimal. That is my correct answer. Moving on to example 3, we're going to solve the quadratic by the quadratic formula. In order to use the quadratic formula, we have to make sure this is in standard form. So we're going to rewrite it. Whenever you move anything across the equal sign, you have to change the sign. That is why we're taking the inverse of +4 and making it -4. So now once I have rewrote it, I can identify my A, B, and C, and make sure you're taking the sign that's in front of it and substituting it in inside of your quadratic formula. This is the answer that we said we're going to come up with. I'm going to show you in Desmos how you could set this up. I see that I have a decimal answer, and I also took the discriminant. Your discriminant is just the part that's underneath your radical. And the reason I did that is so I can show you how to take the square root in Desmos. So I'm going to take 84 x squared. And now what I want to do is go to the gear setting and select my table. For this, it only gives you so many numbers, so you're going to have to type the rest. So I'm going to type 3 and just keep pressing enter until my y value starts showing 0 point something. So when I see 0 point something, I want to go back up in the y portion and look for the whole number. This is going to be my answer. Anything that's in the y column has to stay under the radical. Anything that's in front has to come out. So my answer is 2 root 21. So if I go here, I see that instead of writing square root of 84, I'm going to write 2 square root of 21. However, I already had a 2 and a 10 on the outside. So that's one fraction, 2 over 10, and then the plus or minus. And now I'm going to replace this with 2 root 21. The 10 is still under it. So I can simplify this. 2 divided by 10 is 1/5 plus or minus. And then the 2 on the outside and the 10, I can further simplify. I can't do anything with the square root of 21 except leave it. So it's understood to be a 1 here. I don't have to write the 1. So 1 over 5, and then 1 times square root of 21 is square root of 21. So this whole answer we're going to test and see if it gives us the equivalent of 1.1165 right here. So I'm going to type the backslash on my keyboard and make it one big fraction, 1 plus square root of 21. All of this is over 5. So I see that that is equivalent. Let's copy the whole thing, place it down here. I'm going to change the plus to a minus. And so now I'm going to copy this one and change the plus to a minus. And I notice they're the same. So I know I have the correct answer. The last example is using completing the square. Now you will definitely need to understand how to use this formula, completing the square. That's what CTS stands for. It's going to be taking your b and dividing it by 2. What you want to do when you're doing completing a square, if you want to move your variables on one side and your constant on the other side. So that is why this -6 is being moved over. And again, you take the inverse. So if it's already negative, then you want to add both sides. Sometimes you will have a number that you cannot simplify, so you just need to understand that you're squaring the numerator and then you're turning around and squaring the denominator. Whatever this answer is, that's what's going in the blank. Whatever is already inside of your parentheses, that's what's going in your next step here. So -5 over 2. -5 squared is going to be positive 25. -2 is going to be positive 4. If you ever get a negative here, you're doing something wrong if you use this method. Another thing that's important, A has to equal 1. I see once I actually work through the problem, it's going to end up resulting in 7 and -2. This is the best type of problem to use in Desmos because all you have to do is just type in your original problem. Even if I typed it in like this side and then y is equal to 8, I'm still going to get the correct answer without even having to move anything yet. So let's try it. All right, so as you can see, I have a black graph and a red graph. So y is equal to 8. So I'm going to go, if I don't see it because it's shown like this, I'm just going to go to where y is 8, and that's where they actually intersect. So I'm going to click, and I see x is 7 here, and then the x is -2. I know that I did it correctly. So those are 4 ways that you can double check your work in Desmos. Let's do the same thing with our TI-84. Y equals something's already there. Go ahead and clear it out. Go down, clear that out. And your x that you're working with is this. So x squared minus 5x minus 6. Hit graph. And now I want to try to figure out what the intersect points are. So I'm going to hit second, calculate, go to number 5. First curve, I need to go above this. So I'm going to arrow over, hit enter, go below it. Again, I'm looking at my x, hit enter, enter, and it tells me x is -2. Well, we already knew that was one of our answers right here. And then the other answer should be 7. So we have to go to second trace, which is our calculate, choose number 5. And then this time we're going to go below the other side, anywhere below. So keep clicking on, there you go, until you see your cursor, hit enter, and now anywhere above, kind of hard to tell, but look at your X value and then hit enter twice and it tells you X should be 7 when Y is equal to 8. That is how you're going to use Desmos and TI-84 to determine whether or not you're on the right track with solving quadratics. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Have an awesome day.